I'll show you 3 ways to find out if your trip is free, discounted, or not included with your Swiss Travel Pass. At the end of the video, I'll share a few hidden treasures, trips that are free with the Swiss Travel Pass, which you might not expect. Before we dive into the 3 ways to find out what's covered by your Swiss Travel Pass, let's go over the basics. The first basic rule is that all cities, towns, and villages in Switzerland can be reached for free with a Swiss Travel Pass. So, you don't need a ticket. The second basic rule is that trips to mountaintops are discounted by 50%. So, you do need to buy a ticket to go there. The mode of travel doesn't matter. It's all about the routes. Whether the route is traveled by train, bus, cableway, boat, or funicular doesn't matter. There are exceptions to these rules. Some routes into the mountains are not 50% discounted. They might be free, 25% discounted, or not covered at all. But the basic rules are enough for you to confidently start traveling. You don't have to wonder if your trip from town A to town B is covered, because it always is. Once you've planned a mountain trip, it's time to check if you'll get a discount. If you haven't done so in advance, the staff at the cableway ticket desk can help you out. Now let's look at the first option to double check if your trip is covered. Let's go to myswissalps.com, travel ticket, Swiss Travel Pass. We'll go to the coverage map. Let's download it. You can keep this map on your phone so you can access it even if you're offline. I'll zoom into the legend so you can have a good look at the difference between free routes and discounted routes. All solid lines are free routes. All you need there is your Swiss Travel Pass, so no further tickets. The red lines are railways, yellow lines are bus routes, black lines are cableways, and blue lines are boats. Dotted lines indicate a route that is discounted. You need to buy a ticket online or on the spot, and you'll get a 50% discount. Exceptions are explained here too. Grey lines indicate routes that are not covered, so no discount. The circle with the number 1 stands for a 25% discount. And finally, there's the red circle with a dot in the middle. That's a city with all buses and trams in that city freely accessible to Swiss Travel Pass holders. So again, no tickets are required. Let's zoom in on the capital, Bern. The circle with the dot tells us that all urban transport like trams and buses are free. Also, you can see all the solid lines, telling us that all trains and buses to and from Bern are free as well. There's only one exception, and that's this dotted line to the mountain Gurten. That's 50% discounted. If we scroll a little further south, we can see these main train lines that are no solid red lines. This is a bit tricky. These lines aren't dotted, which would mean discounted. They are actually dashed. All that means is that it's a tunnel. It is free as well, just like all of the solid lines. The second option to check if your trip is covered is to browse to myswissalps.com, travel ticket, Swiss Travel Pass again. Go to the discount section of the page. Here, you'll see that the Bernina Express train is free, but the seat reservations are not discounted. Another example is the cogwheel train from Zermatt to the Gornergrad. It is 50% discounted. This way, you can find the coverage for the most popular routes and mountains. Alternatively, you can go to one of our mountain pages and check coverage there. For example, let's go to the Pilatus page. We'll go to the discount section. Let's expand the table, and now we see the coverage of various passes. The Swiss Travel Pass offers a 50% discount on both the cogwheel train and the cableway to the top of the mountain. If you can't find what you need, there's the third option to check for the coverage. Find the website of the company that operates the train or cableway you are interested in. You'll find links on myswissalps.com, or you can use a search engine. Beware that some of these websites may not be very clear. For example, you may find no reference to the Swiss Travel Pass in their price list. Instead, they might mention GA, which is a similar travel pass for Swiss residents. In such a case, it's safe to assume that the Swiss Travel Pass offers the same benefits. By digging this deep, you can sometimes find golden nuggets. This is how I found that the cableway from Saarnen-Moser to the winter sports area of Sarnes-Lochrad is 50% discounted with a Swiss Travel Pass, even though it isn't on the map. It was a lovely scenic ride. I promised you hidden treasures that are free with the Swiss Travel Pass. Here they are. Let's go back to the map. It really pays off to take a close look at it. My first tip is this train line to Le Pleyade in the Lake Geneva area. It is a scenic route to a panoramic viewing point, and it's all free because the map shows a solid line. In the Jungfrau region, there's this wonderful round trip from Lauterbrunnen to Mürren by cableway and train, back down by cableway, and finally the bus back to Lauterbrunnen. All of those are solid lines too, so they're free. In the Lake Lucerne area, we can see that both cableways to Klevenalb and Stockhutte are free. The same applies to Stanzerhorn, which is a trip I warmly recommend. Also, the cogwheel trains and cableways of Mount Rigi are free. The spectacular funicular and the cableway to Stoos are free too. And don't forget that all the solid blue lines mean that the boats on Lake Lucerne are free as well. All Swiss Travel Pass details can be found on myswissalps.com, travel ticket, Swiss Travel Pass. You'll find links in the description of this video. If there's anything you can't figure out, simply visit our homepage. There you'll find a link to our forum. Feel free to post any questions about your upcoming trip. We'll be glad to help you.